Hello and welcome to the Bob Box. An appropriate opening for this episode would be Fire by the Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Good song. But anyway, one question. How have I gone 227 episodes without even mentioning Nemesis? How has that happened? Well, we're on to episode 228 now, and that's going to change. Time to talk about Nemesis. Nemesis is a cylindrical robot armed with a pneumatic spike and regular static spikes, had two bloodshot eyes on little pods on top of the robot, had a big grin, and was covered in red and black polka dot fur. Why the fur? Well, it's either that or paint. And flamethrowers weren't allowed, so the fact the fur could catch fire shouldn't have been a problem. Well, okay, Sergeant Bash, being a house robot armed with a flamethrower, does not obey these rules. The rules do not apply to house robots. Its team also wore waistcoats made out of the same polka dot fur, which is why I'm wearing this, though it's pink and doesn't have any black spots on it, or any spots of any persuasion, sadly. Anyway, Nemesis was the first Irish robot to appear on Robot Wars, appearing in Series 1 and landing in Heat A, the first ever episode. And as such, Nemesis was the fifth robot to ever be introduced in Robot Wars. Fun fact for you all. Of course, this meant Nemesis had to face the gauntlet. Nemesis went for the middle route, well away from any flames or fire, and managed to navigate the seesaw, no problems whatsoever. It had no problem with the ramp either and managed to dodge Matilda before getting into the end zone, qualifying for the trials in first place. The team, however, were worried about fire and did explain why they wore furry waistcoats. Two people who were unable to make it to Robot Wars, who'd been involved with Nemesis, insisted that they wore those waistcoats. So, next for Nemesis was the trials. Sumo against Shunt. Nemesis risked getting pushed off the sumo ring early on, but escaped and ended up in a good old pushing war with Shunt. Nemesis managing to get back into the middle of the ring. Turned around, managed to get Shunt's wheels with its spikes, and pushed Shunt off the sumo ring. First robot to actually defeat Shunt at sumo as well. So that meant Nemesis was due to get fights. And its first fight was against Wedgebot armed with a saw blade, Roadblock. Roadblock tapped Nemesis early on before using the saw to shred Nemesis's fur. Quite a bit of fur got shredded. Then Roadblock drove into Matilda's corner. Nemesis and Matilda went over to have a poke, but Roadblock escaped as Sergeant Bash came over to also have a poke and set Nemesis' fur on fire whilst Roadblock was pushing Nemesis around. So Roadblock won and someone came along with a fire extinguisher to put out Nemesis' fur fire. I promised you fire. You're welcome. They did win the Sportsmanship Award, so they did get a trophy from Series 1. Nemesis returned for Series 2 of Robot Wars, landing in Heat G, and now had a lobster claws, but was not really changed. Nemesis once again faced the gauntlet and went for the right-hand route with the ram rig and Sergeant Bash. The ram rig was no problem. Nemesis got it through it fine. Sergeant Bash, however, was a problem. Sergeant Bash had a flamethrower and it kept trying to set Nemesis' fur on fire, which eventually did. Nemesis then tangled with dead metal and Killot, not at the same time though. Drove over the flame pit, which just caused the fur to catch more on fire. But they completed the course. Team Nemesis had decided to own the fact that the fur on their robot caught fire on occasion. Well, what else can you do? So, Nemesis was due to the trials, this time Skittles, and they'd patched up Nemesis with bandages. Nemesis went right past Sergeant Bash, no chance of a flaming this time, and knocked over a whole load of barrels, though it wasn't the quickest doing so and ended up picking up a barrel on the top of the robot. They did take a whole lot of barrels out though, and Sergeant Bash set the fur on fire again. Still, it was 38 barrels that they took out, more than a roadblock. So that put them through to face a lifter in Onslaught, a little lifter. For this fight, Nemesis had fresh fur and a kebab, just in case they caught fire again. Yeah, cooks the kebab. This foodstuff was inspired by another team in the heat, Team 13, putting bread on their robot limpet so they could have toast. Onslaught was a little bit fast and met Nemesis early on, pushing it a bit before driving away, although it drove away into the house robots, which wasn't too smart. Then Onslaught escaped, returned to Nemesis, which had stopped and gone pfft. Very technical term that. And Onslaught pitted Nemesis. The kebab didn't even get cooked. It's worth noting that Team 13 never got toast a la limpet either. However, for Nemesis, there was the Inferno Insurrection in the Grudge Match special. Nemesis faced conical sacrificial robot Ramrabbit, which was literally designed to burn. It had a cape and everything. Not all robots wear capes. Ramrabbit does. And in the arena also for this fight was Sergeant Bash. Of course, you can't have an Inferno Insurrection without the house robot with a flamethrower. Both Nemesis and Ramrabbit had been anointed with the sacred paraffin, and Nemesis had a kebab, possibly the same kebab, and the chef sat on. Sergeant Bash first set Ramrabbit on fire. Then Sergeant Bash set Nemesis on fire. Nemesis kept driving around, as did Ramrabbit. In fact, both of them tried to go after Sergeant Bash whilst on fire. Ramrabbit afterwards spun around, sending little bits of fire onto the arena floor. Cease was called not too long afterwards, but no winner was declared. I say everyone won. That means the spectators, the teams, the presenters, the judges, the commentator, the pit reporter, everyone. We all win. However, the kebab was cremated. It was burnt. Probably not edible. And Nemesis's eyes, they didn't come out of it too well. Not good. Nemesis would not fight as Nemesis again. Its team returned for Series 3 with a new robot, dear to us, son of Nemesis, a personal favourite of mine. Nemesis' team, Team Nemesis of course, still brought Nemesis along to Series 3, which was just as well. In the international championships, there was an Australian team who brought along a robot called Terror Australis. However, Terror Australis came down with a terminal case of the Paulies. And Team Nemesis saw they'd come all the way from Australia and it looked like they'd be going home without even getting a chance to fight. So they did the right thing. They lent the Australian team Nemesis and said they could decorate Nemesis to look close to their Australian theme, so do a quick bit of painting and no fur for Nemesis this time around. And this Terror Australis, in the form of Nemesis, was able to have a fight, which was really good of them. In fact, to this day, Nemesis actually still exists with some of the Terror Australis paintwork. I approve. If Nemesis had fared as well in battle as it had in the trials, it would have gone a lot further than it had, though as it never won a fight, it might not be saying that much. Still, good fun to watch, and of course, provides fire. So if you like fire, Nemesis is a good robot for you to watch. So, I of course like Nemesis. I like Deitor as well, of course. I look forward to its episode, which could be as early as next week. Let's see what I have got. This one. See, or it's not Deitor, it's Ripper. Until next week, Callison244.